Let's see. My son asked me to. We was talking lightheartedly, and let us. I said, "You banging on that? You can hang that one up. Even if I'm grown, nice house, and I said I'm drawing close still the baby. It don't because it don't zeal. There's zeal to always see you excel. When you have a parent that's truly loving and caring, and they might express it sometimes in a harsh way, but their zeal to see you excel is always there. And when they think you're not excelling or going where they think you can go, then as a parent, that's what you're gonna do. I'm starting in that thing now. The older they get, it don't slack. The more I see them slacking, the more I'm after. Hey man, you got to pick it up. You do a lot better than because have you have been there, as they say, done that. You have lived, but you want to see their quality of life as well. And so that don't nowhere. That don't expire, with no age limit or nothing. That's always there. If they mind conscious, they always there. I go in and out. But when the mind is renewed and fresh and they intact with you, they right on them. They're like, wait a minute, they got all of this, but they don't have it that bad. They can't tell you of being nowhere. So I know she's been out here, she's been engaged, and with all the things that's happening, she carries the worries about them, and it's enough to make you worry. I carry it, and it comes from a good place. So praise what we do, like you said, we praise God that we have, and I told him as well that you have somebody. Hallelujah. People are in their father, and I'll be like, wow, and it's a damnable thing. That don't even have family ties, and it's horrible. Yes, sir. It's horrible because that's cuss us out and put us out. That guy put me out, be smiling all the way. Hey, I'm going out there, huh, Elder? Huh? At least I gotta do more than that.
That's right.
Some people, like I said, they ain't even well. You will never. I talked to her. I didn't talk to her. She just opened up to me because I guess that's how people. And she just started talking. I was kind of at a distance, so I really didn't know what she was saying at first. Then I got up on her and she was talking. And when she said she was behind the car, I'm thinking, you know, her obligation to the come again. Say, yeah, I'm like, it, it, it. I said, the concept. He after you like that. And she's like, yeah, yeah. I said, mercy, huh? Let me go in and see my.
Right.
'Cause I ain't gotta hide from her. My mother, you can't hide from anyway. So count the blessings. Count the blessings. And blessings. Promised us he wrote this tribulation. When Pharaoh asked our father, he said, "What? Tell me something about you." He said, "I'm yeah, he said, "Far and few am I." He said, in other he a lot of times throughout the course that now he's seen this, but life is filled with both of them. The storm roll in one behind the other, and don't look like the sun ever gonna come again. But because it eventually, as you say, nothing lasts forever. Nothing lasts forever. Everything has to break it. And so we pray for our sister, and I'm glad she have a friend, in every sense of the word, like you can lean on and help her as much as you can in all ways. And the Almighty is her ultimate help, and that's what we ask her, restore her, and make her latter end better than her former. Hallelujah.
Yeah.
Any other comments from anybody? Yes, young man.
Okay. I know that Yahweh is
And you happy to have him, aren't you?
yeah, right here.
All right.
I wake him up, but he's up. So he might have it covered.
Hallelujah. anyone? anyone?
God shalom.
Shalom.
All praises, all glory to the Holy One of Israel. I say hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
I truly want to give thanks and praise to keeping us out of harm's way, for allowing us to rise up this day, for allowing myself to rise up and feeling good. And I want to thank Yahweh for my life and thank the Lord what's going on. And when I say this, when you parks, make sure you seeing what they doing. Make sure not only you seeing what they doing, but make sure you seeing what them other kids around you did up in the park. The little 12-year-old boy is around the pole. Then he walked. He wanted to show him something on the side of the building. Well, he walked. His mom was looking like, where are you going? And she started playing fire around, picked him up, got him in a chokehold and choking. Looking for him. He played around her dead, or she put hands on work and was just ready for whatever. I ain't even care at that moment. I'm like, I probably would have did more than what she did to the or what he. And we ain't never been able to talk to his mama or anything. But I'm just thankful to Yah that she was a charge. Whatever the situation may have been, give thanks and praise, sir, for what's going on around. And nothing happened to your loved ones or your youth, and you in a prayer. Shalom, family. The Holy One of Israel, our Creator, our blessing, everything that thankful that Yahweh spared me. Like Joe, this thing get taken away, work through everything. Yeah, to me. Been a while since I done this, but
But in the school it changed because now they don't let the parents go in the morning. At his school, they just drop them off at the door and they take them there. And the teachers meet them in the gym room or something. But I just had to get used to that because I was like, nah, I'm supposed to make sure the teacher get him and I know who I'm dropping them off to. And so, security purposes, this, that. I'm like, all right. So if anything happens, I know what I'm looking for. So you first want to stop me, so I'm coming to you first. But I'm just thankful that they securing the schools and stuff now. Everybody got up. I hope y'all wake and heal your spirit, heal your emotions, heal your body if it's a physical need. Thankful that I'm back. I'm feeling good. Ready to start training. Hey, just thankful to be back with our family and friends. Happy here. Yahweh, mercy, give him glory for everything that he gave me. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
Oh, hallelujah. My bad. That's my shalom. I got a question though, just two more raised I want to ask. I just want your intake on this. It's a two-part question. I take it the way they brought it to me. Is everyone born with a spirit, or is everyone born with a soul, or is there a difference between the spirit and the soul? Because they talking about, well, he breathed in Adam, so everybody got a soul. He made Adam a living soul, so, but read different, but that was just a question I had. Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
Any other comments? Anybody? Yes, ma'am.
I'd like to ask you a question. Is it all right if I ask you on a break?
Yes. Definitely. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Anyone else? Or any other questions? Yes, ma'am. Shabbat shalom. Hallelujah.
So what does the cloud do in the sky?
What does the clouds do in the sky? All right. All right. Nice question. Anybody else? Comment or they can ask a question at this time.
I just want to give thanks for having this Barak, for being here, for my family being blessed, just for growth, seeing it in myself, seeing it in my family is an amazing thing to witness. I just want to give glory his praise, or give God his glory and praise. So hallelujah.
Hallelujah. Anyone else? Yes, ma'am. Shabbat shalom. Hallelujah. And before you do, I want everybody to stand up. Everybody stand. Everybody raise your hands up. Yes, let me put it down. Everybody raise your hands up.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3. Hallelujah!
Hallelujah.
Y'all seem like y'all look dead out there today. Let's see. Check your pulse. Hallelujah!
Hallelujah.
All right. Sit down. I want to make sure I was in the land of the living.
Hallelujah.
It's monotone around here today. Yes, ma'am.
I wanted to ask a question about, I know that our king, we have some young
our youth started out being kings at a young age.
Mm-hmm.
So what I wanted to ask about is the schooling. You know, I don't know how you can find that out or if it's there, but what type of schooling did our children get, you know, back, you know, when in their days, did they just only go to school? Did they go to school just only for the law of Yahweh? Or, you know how we go now for curriculum, you know, like to learn things that is not gonna, well, we need to know how to count. And I guess there are ABCs, you know, that's the basics. But the other things that we're learning, you know, it's just for, seems like to me, conversation. Because the things that we really learning, that they're learning in school, you know, they don't, sometimes it's not put to use, or later on it might not be put to use. It's just things that we have in our arsenal as children growing up. But the things that they learn, you know, in the ancient of days, you know, I know we had children.
Mm-hmm.
They had children come out. You know, I never, you know, really read anything about schooling except for the law. You know, is that all that our children were taught? Or is that, I know it's vital,
Yes,
but
ma'am.
is that something that, you know, should be, we teach them as they walk by the way. And
Yes, ma'am.
it's just something that we ought to sit down, you know, hours upon hours, and totally that's it. You know, I know the law, some of the laws might be too, they might not understand, you know, but some of the commandments and things like that. You know, I just wonder how they were taught, you know, solely coming up.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Very good. Very good. And that's a, you know, that's a phenomenal question to what was schooling like for the people of the book. What was schooling like? Schooling then, believe it or not, and we'll start there. So, and my sister, my young sister there, she asked the question. Again, the scriptures says, and all you're getting, get what?
Understand?
And in the way in which one lives. We was training. We was doing a little something. We was together this week. I asked everybody, I said, did you ever see the movie called The Last Samurai? And I asked the class, did y'all ever see that? You ever see that movie?
Yeah.
Don't watch it for the violence and people getting beat up and stuff. Watch it for what's around it. There's a character in there, he do a lot, but he comes from the Western world, and he comes from the American. And they take him over to Japan to train the people in the army in Japan on how to be an army, because he's one of the best soldiers that they had offered. But when he gets there, he get captured by a class of people that don't live in mainstream Japan. They live by the old way. And long and short, once he stayed with them for a few months, but in staying with them for a few months, they totally changed his whole life and the way he looked at life through their culture. Now, why I say that through their culture? Because when you're actually saying culture. You're actually saying how a person lives. A man called up yesterday on one of the radio shows and he said something real good. He said something that we often stress and often teach. He said, you know, I know what the term, he said, but I don't understand this term, Afrocentricity. He said, I don't really understand it. He said, because what does Afrocentricity mean? Can somebody tell me? It means an African-centered perspective. But what is that saying? Because Africa is a continent. And on that continent is many what? Many different peoples. As scriptures say, many different peoples, languages, tongues, families, kindreds. All with their own culture. Remember we taught a few weeks ago about the difference between the African, continental African, and you and I? Do y'all remember us having that conversation? Mm-hmm. You remember that, Elder? Huh? I bring that up because this gentleman said when he was in Africa, everybody always talking about going back to, he said when he was in Africa, matter of fact, in Senegal, speaking to Africans, he said he brought up specific things that we think as Africans, we do over here as Africans, that they had no concept of. He said he brought up Kwanzaa. And he said the man looked at him like he was 24 karat crazy. He said, what is Kwanzaa? This is an African on the continent talking to a brother from the United States. And he asked him, he said, what is Kwanzaa? What you talking about? And he brought up some other things that we do that we call Afrocentricity. That the man said he was impervious to. He tried to have a conversation based on the plight of our captivity. And he said the African, he knew it, he could sympathize, but he couldn't empathize. Meaning he did not feel that connection through that plight. He didn't feel it because it's not pertained to him. It has something to do to a specific people.
Yes, sir. Go ahead, Warren.
Now that specific people, what I'm bringing it home to, have a specific way of life.
Yes, sir.
Or dare I say, culture.
Yes, sir.
And in that culture is everything. Or should be everything. Sister Via, schooling is no different, should be no different today than it was for our people then, except that we have lost our culture. And so we segment things. Because our first education, the first education, no matter king, prince, child, this is our first education. Let's start the book of Deuteronomy, the 6th chapter.
Deuteronomy chapter 6. Hallelujah.
Y'all all right out there?
Yes, sir. Hallelujah.
Some of y'all look like y'all disturbed, huh? I want no burden.
All right.
Shake them off so we can absorb this. Verse 1.
Deuteronomy chapter 6, verse 1. Rise for your elders.
That's wrong.
Maybe see Deuteronomy chapter 6, verse 1. Now these are the commandments, the statutes, and the judgments which Yahweh your Elohim commanded to teach you.
Now these are the what?
The commandments, the
The
statutes,
statutes,
and judgments
judgments,
which Yahweh Elohim commanded to teach you, that you might do them in the land whether you go to possess it, that thou mightest fear Yahweh thy Elohim, to keep all his statutes and his commandments, which I command thee, thou and thy son, and thy son's son, all the days of thy life.
So who should keep them?
You, your son, your grandson, and your great grandson.
And how they gonna know to keep them?
Because you gonna teach.
Because those that know has that knowledge, what?
Down to them.
Down to them.
Yes, sir.
See, it ain't no different. Ain't no different. A child's, and we've said this over and over, a child's first teacher is not Miss Smith.
All right.
The child's first teacher is not Head Start. That's where so many of, because the culture we're in, things have fallen short. The child's first instructor is that of his mother and his father and that grandma and that grandpa.
Hallelujah.
The child's first instructors are the people in which the world he is born into.
Yes, sir. Hallelujah.
Understanding nature. Remember, who had the question about the spirit?
Yeah.
You had the question about the spirit? Well, from the time that the soul is a living soul, is a spirit. See, that's why we call abortion. Y'all done stoked it now. Can we get started?
Go ahead.
Sister B done got me in trouble today.
Go ahead.
Can we get started?
Yes, sir. Hallelujah.
Because from the time the child conceived, from the time the child, especially as David said, is formed and fashioned, I'm going to tell you something. This book is more than what people think it is.
Yes, sir. Go ahead. Go ahead, Moray.
See, they only think it's supposed to be open on Sunday.
That's right.
Then they open it in the wrong place.
Right.
Go all the way to the back.
To the end, so-called end.
For many of us, we only think it's supposed to be open
On the
one day.
Yes, sir.
He said,
Don't let him off the hook, Moray.
For many of us, we only think it's supposed if we open it then.
Yes, sir.
Because some of us, we don't even open it on the Shabbat day now.
All right.
And we darn sure don't open it after Shabbat.
Okay.
We only open it on Shabbat. As long as we can tolerate, because some of us, we close it on Shabbat day. I've seen it.
Yes, sir.
And we start talking and doing our own thing.
Yes, sir.
I just got to be real.
Yes, sir. All the way. Hallelujah.
But the book, and my sister said earlier, and I echo her sentiment, because one day you're going to come to realize just how much of a centerpiece Yahweh should be.
All right. Hallelujah.
And you hope and pray. I hope and pray that that day ain't the day as the scriptures say in the clear, declining and you on your way out of here. And you never get the chance to experience all of the goodness, all of the greatness, all of the wonderfulness that the Almighty have in store for you in the land of the living. How he can expand and broaden your horizons. As I told y'all, I went through 12 years of formal schooling, or what they would call formal schooling, what everybody would accept. 2 years of, or a year and a half, because let's cut that out. But they bounced me at the end. They said, boy, you got as dumb as a bag of rocks. Got to get out of here. And some of it was dumb. Some of it I understand now. Some of it I just rubbed people the wrong way. I went to Xavier University after I graduated. So I didn't do too bad in high school. And my literature teacher, he was a priest. Every paper I turned into that man had nothing but red marks on it all the way down. And that's because every paper that I did, that I turned into him, had something to do with the Creator.
Hallelujah.
So he found every error he could find. I said, okay, all right. So I left. They gave me all papers and I left. But I think back, that's 12 years, but I think back on 4 years of really letting the Almighty God, and I learned more and have learned more. And now I'm learning things. The more I let the Almighty just let him school me. I'm learning things. Some of y'all with me, huh?
Yes, sir.
Some of
Yes,
y'all
sir.
starting to walk with me, huh?
Hallelujah.
We walking together, huh?
Yes, sir.
Are we learning things?
Yes, sir.
And knowledge being increased?
Hallelujah.
Huh?
Hallelujah.
And somebody would have told you knew that, you'd have been like, huh, what? Because he's the source. He's the source of knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. And there is none higher than his.
Hallelujah.
So he is the first teacher.
Yes, sir.
And you ought to be in that standpoint when it comes to the children, because that's what we say the other week, as arrows in the hand of a what?
Mighty man.
That's your job, to shoot the arrow and have it hit the mark.
Hallelujah.
So we don't wait to send them off. That's why I said, no, they should be able to go. We don't wait to send them off to their school. We send them off to, but we send them off to their school, and they should be well advanced.
Yes, sir. Hallelujah.
I slipped a little bit on it, but they should be well advanced. With that first one, like I said, with that first one, when he was 4 years old and could talk, I had him able to recite Bereshit Bara, Hashemayim, Wahares. The first 5 verses, he was able to do it and not stumble. I put him in front of brothers who spoke, he would run it off like that, and they'd be like, what? I just didn't keep it up. Fault on me. But it showed he could learn. That's 4 years old. He could learn. See, we just don't get it. Not to go off subject, I showed him a video. The brother sent the video to me. Because when we say learning, we talking about learning. See, even understand what we talking about when we say learning. We talking about learning. Brother sent me a video. Little boy, 4 years old. Young lady is with him. She says, show me what you're doing. They had a gun show. He says, show me what you're doing. Now, he don't have no toy. He got the real live McCoy. Automatic weapon. And he hitting the spot. Tick, 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 tick. He said, drop the cartridge. Yeah. He drops it. Looks, inspects it. Put it back in. Yeah. Reload. Yeah. Daddy ain't telling him what to do. Nobody standing there. She ain't pointing to him what to do. She said, how old are you? He said, and he smiling, he happy. He said, and he go back again. Daddy puts his hand on the trigger. When he 8, what he gonna be? When he 12, what he gonna be? When he's 16, when he's 20. Before he grown. Before he grown. We run around talking about, we have no culturistic standpoint about the importance, as the creator said, of knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. As I told them, because you can even learn through that. If you make everything a training if you make this world your school. But as I told them, don't get caught up in just the sports and the entertainment. All of these things are things, in a lot of ways, distractions. Because they don't want you. The most dangerous thing in this society is a man of Elohim that have true knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. As he said, you sit. Job said, I sat with princes, shut their mouth at me. When I sat down and opened my mouth, he said, it was like E.F. Hutton. Everybody just shut up. But they wanted to know. And the first source of my knowledge was this. Because I put Yahweh ahead. And I grab hold to his commandments. That's knowledge to know. Although some don't want to, it's knowledge to know and regard Yah's commandment when he said, this to you shall be the first moon. That's knowledge. Because you going by what he said it was for. Because he didn't just make it just to be there. He made it for a purpose. And we're going to get into creation in a minute. But I guarantee you, if you really start being serious and studying this word, you're going to watch, because that's what the Creator have already prophesied. He said, and knowledge in the latter days shall be what? Increased. Why? Because in the latter days, some people are going to be more serious about seeking Yah.
Hallelujah.
And bring out things that the world had lost. That's why I said it, and it starts with us, but it might be one of these young minds.
Hallelujah.
So that's why I'm delighted to let him come up every week. Break it down. Take us out.
Hallelujah.
So why you letting that young boy do that?
Hallelujah. Why not?
Why not?
All right.
Because at the time, he changed, right? Time out, because that's what we did. That's what the priests did. Do you think they got him when they was just 13? No.
Now when that mind was still developing,
So by the time I'm ready to do this,
take it over.
and not miss a beat.
Hallelujah.
He stumbled today, but he won't miss a beat. May y'all was blessed to keep these. And Yahweh make his face shine upon. That's what he'll rattle off his lips like water off a waterfall. And you say, then I'll be able to sit back with this a little grayer, a little longer, hopefully. And I'll say, I remember when that little bit whippersnapper, he couldn't eat. He was saying, I had to guard to it. May he bless you. I'll be able to sit back and just smile and look at him.
Yes, sir.
Let's go back to 6 again. Teach them, I command thou that you could teach them to thy son's son, all the days
of thy life, and that thy days may be prolonged. Hear therefore, O Israel.
Somebody ain't teaching.
All right?
That's why that young man, he been led astray.
Yes.
Yeah, I know that you mad at her, she mad at him, she went at him, but he been led astray.
Yes, sir.
And that's why he was trying to lead him astray. But somebody ain't been teaching him. Because had they been teaching him, he would have known not to do that.
That's right.
And the fact that nobody came to see about his well-being because somebody jumped, that tells me something there.
Yes, sir.
But see, in the course that he going through, not being taught in the right way, he gonna do that, or he gonna follow the wrong person, and his life, because he's only repeating a behavior that he has seen, and he has learned, he has picked up, that he has been taught. Verse 3.
Hear therefore, O Israel, and observe to do it, that it may be well with you, and that ye may increase mightily, as Yahweh Elohim of thy fathers have promised thee, in the land that floweth with milk and honey. Hear, O Israel, Yahweh our Elohim is one. Yahweh.
He's only one.
Hallelujah. And thou shalt love Yahweh thy Elohim.
And being only one, we supposed to love who?
Yahweh.
Him.
Hallelujah.
And him only.
With all thy heart.
With all our heart.
And with all thy soul.
All our soul.
And with all thy might.
All our might.
And these words which I command thee this day.
Our heart.
Shall be in thy heart.
Our heart. The center. Levah. The center. The heart.
Hallelujah.
The seat. And our soul. Nefesh. Body. See, nefesh. It has the connotation of spirit, but its most prominent connotation is body. Creature. So nefesh, body. Then he said, so give all of your heart, which is the seat of all things, the center of all things, the seat of all things. Give all that to Yah. And when you give all that to Yah, because we also said that the what? It's the what? Spirit that leads the body. And then when you know that the spirit leads the body, then the body is capable of doing great things.
Hallelujah.
So give him all our heart, give him all our soul, all our body, and what we do for him, do it with all your might.
Hallelujah.
If you're going to praise him with all your might.
All right. Yes, sir. Hallelujah.
That's why the song said, I will praise him with every being in my body.
Hallelujah.
Verse 6.
And these words which I command thee this day shall be in thy heart.
They're supposed to be put in your heart.
And thou shalt teach them diligently.
Uh-oh, look at that.
Unto thy children.
You should do what?
Teach them diligently.
You should do what?
Teach them.
Diligently.
Yes, sir.
Now, when he gave this commandment, did we have any kings at this time?
No,
Huh? We didn't, did we?
no.
Didn't have a lineage of kings. But this commandment, who was it unto?
Children of Israel.
It was to all of Israel. So, not just a specific group of people, but for every Israelite child, this is what he was designed to have. See, that's why the Almighty said, you are designed and were designed to be a nation of priests, to be able to go out and teach other people, instruct other people, whether you wore a title of king, prince, or you're just a common man. Nobody is supposed to be able to have greater comprehension than you. Verse 7.
Thou shalt teach them diligently unto thy children.
Yes.
Thou shalt talk of them when thou sittest in thy house.
When you where?
Sittest in the house. And when thou walkest by the way.
When you where?
Walking by the way. And when thou liest down.
And when they what?
Rise up.
When they lie down? When they rise up? Matter of fact, when is school out?
Never.
School ain't never out.
Hallelujah.
Yeah, you might get rest while you sleep. But school ain't never out.
Even in sleep, you get a lesson.
That's what I was just thinking in my head.
School ain't never out. And this is what schooling start with. Because did we have schools? Sure we did. But this is what schooling starts with. So let's turn to Deuteronomy. Let's turn to Deuteronomy 17. This is what schooling starts with. Schooling starts with the word of the Almighty. Putting that word in your child.
Hallelujah.
Training that child how to be.
Hallelujah.
See, if you don't train that child how to be, if you don't train him how to morally be right, even send him to anybody to learn anything else, it ain't gonna happen. That's why the kid be jumping around the room and the teacher can't even teach because they spend half the day trying to sit them down and get them situated first. Because they jumping all around the room because ain't nobody taught them nothing. They ain't learned nothing. And they didn't learn where? At home.
They ain't learning at home.
Now how they gonna learn 2 and 3? Past participle, noun and pronoun. And they, we came in, our day we came in, sit down, boom, pencil, boom, paper, boom.
Right.
Let's get busy. And we were sitting. If you were sitting, it's because you had or something like that, but we were sitting. But I've seen the classroom. Kids just all over the place. And when one class, I said, girl, I said, because I'm friends with one of the teachers that was telling my son, I said, girl, I don't know how you do it. He said, yeah, they won't give me no help. I said, I don't know. It's a table over here. They off the chain. It's a table over here. They off the chain. They were trying to influence mine. That's why I was there. And I popped up enough times to counteract what they doing.
You the help.
Make him think. Yeah. Yeah, when I'm not, I'm always there. I'm all around. But the first learning is not happening. Because even as a king, Deuteronomy 17, as a young king, if he don't know this, he's not going to be a good king. Whether he 8 or 48 or 80. If you know this, the Almighty said he's not going to be a good king. And what is it that he should know? Deuteronomy 17, starting verse 15.
Hallelujah. Thou shalt in any wise set him king over thee, whom Yahweh thy Elohim shall choose, one from among thy brethren, shall thou set king over thee. Thou mayest not set a stranger over thee, which is not thy brother.
Why? Why not set him over you? See how people are still hounding about? They still hounding about voting. Still hounding about who they're going to pick for the vote. And got a bunch of strangers on the stage. And why? Got a stranger running rampant, doing anything. And you shocked that he ain't doing nothing for you. He ain't doing nothing for us. You shocked about that. When he has no what? He has no what? Understanding of the law, and he has no what else? Huh? Come on, y'all put y'all thinking caps on now. That's what I'm trying to get to today. Y'all put y'all thinking caps on. We in school.
Hallelujah.
He have no what? That you don't put no stranger over you.
I know king to you. I know
A strange deity.
He don't have no cultural ties to you.
can relate to you.
He not your people. He don't know nothing about you. That's why Miss Bush, she wasn't even being real belligerent. She really believed what she said when they put all the people, they called themselves rescuing them, and they put all the people in the Superdome down in Louisiana during Katrina. She really believed what she said when she made the statement and said, I don't know why everybody's so up in arms about their accommodations. They've never had it so good. Because she never been to the Ninth Ward. She never been to the areas that them people came from. She never had to spend time around them. She never one time walked a half hour where all those people was.
That's right.
She know nothing about them. She know nothing about their culture. She know nothing how they think. She's not tied to them. So when she saw it, all she know is we don't put them in a building. They got some place to stay. They should be thankful. And that's how he is going to rule you. Because he have no ties to you. Go ahead.
But he shall not multiply horses.
And then the Almighty starts telling the king that is your brother to keep himself in check, watch himself, and don't get out of line.
Right.
Just because he gets a fancy title. Go ahead.
Nor cause the people to return to Egypt, to the end that he should multiply horses.
Not that he can't have many horses, but not at the expense of the people. Not in putting people in misery, in hard bondage. That's what he means by making them return back to Egypt. He's going to multiply these things at the expense of the people. He's going to get fat at the expense of the people. He's going to be an oppressor instead of a reliever. The Almighty say, no, when you reign, you should not do that. Go ahead.
For as much as Yahweh have said unto you, ye shall henceforth return no more that way.
He never wanted us to go back that way. It was not his desire for us to go back in oppression. And had we ruled rightfully, we would not. But we did not. Go ahead.
Neither shall he multiply wives to himself.
Not that he can't have more than one, but he shouldn't seek to do this. That, because if he does this and he worry about that all day long,
that his heart turn not away.
His heart gonna get turned away. He worry about chasing women all day long and pleasing women all day long. His heart gonna get turned away from the Creator.
Yes, sir.
How much? Because what did we just read? We to give the Almighty what?
All our heart.
Huh?
All our soul. All our might.
And you dividing some of it up
amongst a woman.
Amongst women.
Amongst a man.
Especially strange women, like Father Solomon. See, the Almighty knew when he gave his law what he was talking about. He said, you ain't got no more heart for me. Or very little. Go.
Neither shall he greatly multiply to himself silver and gold.
He don't need to have the world.
And it shall be when he sitteth upon the throne.
Now look at 18.
And it shall be when he sitteth upon the throne of his kingdom, that he shall write him a copy of this law in a book out of that which is before the priests, the Levites.
Do you know who aided and who taught the kings of Israel?
The Levites.
The priests. They were just as integral part of his education as anybody else. The priests, the Levites, they taught kings. And they taught kings because this is what the king needed to learn first and foremost to govern the Almighty's kingdom. He needed to know the Almighty's ways. He needed to know the Almighty's laws, statutes, commandments. So his teachers were priests. Go ahead.
And it shall be with him, and he shall read therein all the days of his life, that he may learn to fear Yahweh his Elohim, to keep all the words of this law and these statutes to do them, that his heart be not lifted up above his brethren, and that he turn not aside from the commandment to the right hand or to the left.
Don't you know that even the Israelites, they adopted this? That's why the sultans, the rulers, they had to write down, they adopted this, they stole this, they had to write, when Islam came, they had to write down copies from the Quran. Even today, the most powerful person in the Islamic country is not the president or the ruler. The most powerful person in the Islamic country today is the sheikh. His word holds sway over everybody. The sheikh. And he's the top religious individual in Islamic countries. He gives edict to them that rule. The sheikhs, the Ayatollah. Y'all remember some of y'all that's a little older, y'all remember the Ayatollah Khomeini? Huh?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
He moved the Islamic world, didn't he?
He moved
everyone
over there.
And they had other presidents, but when he spoke, what happened?
Whatever he said.
Whatever he said.
They did.
Thank you, Elder.
Hallelujah.
Thank you, Elder. The religious figurehead. When he told them to take hostages, They went to the hostages.
They took them.
Huh? They said, do we give them up? He said, no. Huh? He told Carter Rick, no. Did they give them up?
No.
No. The religious cleric, held sway. The king wasn't just to be running around unchecked. These priests were here to teach him. And where the priests couldn't get through to him, that's when the Almighty would send a prophet. Because he said, I'm not here to teach you. I'm here to condemn you. Thus says Yah. I'm not here to teach because you've been taught. When I come here with a message. That's why the kings always feared when the prophet came.
Yes, sir.
But he said it should be verse 19.
Verse 20, verse 19.
Yes,
It shall be with him, and he shall read therein all the days of his life, that he may learn to fear Yahweh his Elohim.
So if the king was 8 years old, what should he make a copy of?
The law.
If he was 12, what should he have a copy of?
The law.
If he was 16,
the law.
If he was 46,
the law.
This is what he learned first.
Hallelujah.
Now, through the course of learning this, as I said, this is the gateway to broadening your horizons and learning everything else. Because about it. And let's see what happens with the Spirit. Let's learn through the lips of one of our greatest kings, whose scriptures say had knowledge, wisdom, and understanding that far excelled anybody else's. Go to Ecclesiastes, 3rd chapter. This is higher learning. And it starts with the word of the Almighty.
Ecclesiastes chapter 3. Hallelujah.
And hold that.
Yes, sir.
Because they also went to school. Hold that, Ecclesiastes. They also went to school. We had schools. Not like we didn't have school. We had schools, places of instruction. That's why in the book of Proverbs, the 30th chapter, turn there. That's why this was written. Let's go to Proverbs 30th chapter.
Proverbs chapter 30.
Verse 1.
Hallelujah. The words of Abner, the son of Yaqub, even the prophecy, the man spake unto Ithiel, even unto Ithiel and Ukal. Surely I am more brutish than any man, and have not the understanding of man.
Because when you go to school, a lot of you get the understanding of man. You get taught theory in science, you get taught theorems and theories, hypotheses, hypotenuses. You get taught things named after men. So you get the understanding of men, especially the higher you go up. Thesis or things are taught off of other men's theses. And that's why some of our people today, it's a disruption to them learning from the Creator. Because they have man in the front of their head and not the Almighty. So they say, no, that can't be true. Because this is what my schooling tell me. This is what empirical evidence tell me. This is what this tell me. And not what the scriptures tell them. So they won't give that credence. And that's why he said, I have not the understanding of man. Because these men were learning in institute. We had institutions. And they were learning in institute. And they came out with their own understanding about things. But go ahead.
I neither learned wisdom,
He said, I neither learned wisdom.
nor have the knowledge of the holy.
And if you notice that holy have a what?
Small h.
Alright.
Lowercase h. So we know he's not talking about the Most High and his holiness. He's talking about people that get knowledge and think they know so much that they puffed up and they a lot better than you. You can't tell me nothing. I went to college for 8 years, 12 years. I went over here and studied over in France. I studied over here. I studied over there. I've been all around the world and traveled. What can you tell me? And some people get puffed up like that. Doctors get puffed up. You can't tell me. No, you can't tell me anything about medicine. I'm the doctor. You're the patient. And someone will be livid when you try to tell them something. Because they're puffed up. Again, they have this kind of holier than thou attitude. And here he says, I have not learned wisdom nor knowledge of the holy.
Who have ascended up into heaven?
But he said, let me ask you a couple of questions then, since you're so brilliant. And I'm just a little confident. Let me ask you a couple of questions. And here's the first. Who ascended up to heaven?
Or descended?
Or came down?
Who have gathered the wind in his fist?
Who gathered the wind in his fist?
Who have bound the waters in a garment?
Who bound the waters in the garment?
Who have established all the ends of the earth?
Who established the very ends of the earth?
What is his name?
Can you tell me his name?
What is his son's
Do
name?
you know his son's name?
If thou canst tell.
If you can tell us. And most of them with all them high degrees, because I've talked to him.
Yes, sir.
I've talked to him.
Hallelujah.
I'll tell you about my exploits with one of them. I've talked to them. And they can't. They can't. They just as dumbfounded. Wait a minute, all this schooling you're talking about. They are dumbfounded what I know. He said, for there's something greater than that. And what's greater than that?
Every word of Elohim is
Every word of
pure.
Yah is pure.
He is a shield unto them
He'll be a shield.
that put their trust in him.
If you put your trust in him, he'll be a shield. Things you
Hallelujah.
learn from him, he gonna make it come to, he gonna be a shield. People will say, man, how did you,
Hallelujah.
I wonder if how did you learn that? Where did you learn that? Well, who taught you that? You ain't supposed to know that.
Yes, sir.
Well, where can I go to get this?
Yahweh.
Only if you make every word of Yah pure, it will become a shield to you
Hallelujah.
if you put your trust in him. And then he don't need our help. And that's why he said, what?
Add thou not unto his
You
word.
don't need us to get real deep. Just keep it simple. Add not to his word.
Lest he reprove thee, and thou be found a liar.
Because you start adding some stuff that he don't want and he don't sanction, all that wisdom that he's given you, he'll confound it. And you'll be found a liar.
Yes, sir.
He said, you don't need to do that for them to accept it. They're going to accept it or leave it regardless. So we don't need to make up nothing. That's why I said when I talked to my other brothers that called me, I said, we don't have to go and make up nothing. And we really don't have to go search. It's all right. But we ain't got to go running and grabbing a whole bunch of books. Just give them this word.
Hallelujah.
So whether they'll accept it or they'll leave it regardless.
God.
But teach what you know and stand by what you know to be the truth.
Hallelujah.
And he said and my one brother said he'd been doing it, and said one of the brothers used to give him a rough time. Now he's saying they are agreeing more. They're agreeing more because he stood on what he knows is truth.
Hallelujah.
This, and that is the first teaching. The Almighty. This is learning. So when kings, no matter the age, ascended to the throne, their first duty of learning was from the Creator. And then the Almighty blossomed. Once you put him there, then he blossomed and increased their knowledge, their wisdom, and their understanding through the application of trying to submit themselves to him and understand his world. Because this is his world. That's why the song said, I'm a stranger in the earth. So let me be taught then. That's why in Ecclesiastes. Now we go back. This is one of my favorite books. Me and my oldest son, we got out the car the other day. I said, see, people will look at you and they'll say, man, that's a fool. What is he doing? Well, we were standing there in the yard, and especially me. And I was bent down. I know people say, man, what is you doing? I'm bent down, just living in the yard, and there's nothing there. But it was a bone in the yard. Little small bone. Wing, chicken wing bone. I ain't gotta say where it came from. Little small bone. The same. What was that in? Huh? Speak like you playing ball. I asked you for my ants, thank you. They coming from where? All over the place, wasn't it? We stood there and we studied it. And then, and we studied these little black ants. They had specks of white blended into them. Now, what was the white? It was the bone. These ants, collective, this is what Solomon, this is what he did. I don't know if he did it as a little kid. I don't know if he did it as an adolescent. I don't know if he did it as a grown man. But this is how he learned. He learned through everything. Because he was enthralled with Yah's whole creation.
Hallelujah.
So he took time to stop himself and say, look at this. And then we marveled at it because we said, man, look at how they all come out. And we don't see nobody at the head with no signs. I'm the head ant. Everybody follow me. We just saw a conglomerate of them with one goal, and that was to break down this bone. And I told him, we come back here sometime this week, I guarantee you that bone gonna be gone. Because collectively, they coming out and attacking it. And you can see them carry little specks by little speck by little speck away. It was a sight for me to marvel at. That's why he said, see the ant? Though he have no ruler, he accomplished much. He gathered him much.
Yes, sir.
He did this because he studied him.
Yes, sir.
He studied everything because he understood everything was learning. And learning, knowledge is wisdom. And wisdom, if you understand it, it puts everything in perspective. So let's see, he even studied the world as it was. Started 3 and 14.
Ecclesiastes, chapter 3,
Yes.
verse 14. I know that whatsoever Elohim doeth,
whatsoever he does,
it shall be forever.
Yes.
No thing can be put to it, nor anything taken from it. And Elohim doeth, and he doeth it that men should fear before him. That which have been
Yes.
is now,
Yes.
and that which is to be have already been.
That which have been is what?
Now, and that which is to be
And that which is to come
have already been.
is already happened.
And Elohim requireth that which is past.
And the Almighty always bring back around that which is already past. Let me answer my sister's question. She said, what are the clouds to do? Huh? You want to know what the clouds are to do? They're to do the same thing that they were to do in the day he created them. Hold this page. We coming back to it. Hold this page and go to Genesis, the first chapter. Now I'll show you what the clouds were meant to do. Now I'll show you exactly what the clouds were meant to do. You got Genesis first chapter?
Yes, sir.
Huh? Read, start at verse 6.
Hallelujah. Genesis chapter 1, verse 6.
Mm-hmm.
Elohim said, let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters.
Hello. Let me help you with that. He said, let there be a firmament or an expanse. Let there be a firmament or an expanse in the midst of the waters. You look up, if you go outside today, or better yet, if you look at that light enhancer, the clouds, and what color is the sky?
Blue.
Blue. Have you ever wondered why it gives off a blue hue? It's water. It's water. And the heavens, and these heavens, this expanse, Rakia, the clouds heavens to help retain this moisture. See, they retain moisture. And they move moisture. See, in science, they call that and this front moving over this, and this front is moving under this, and when this front get over that, and this front get over this, it'll drop down rain. And well, all you got to do is to know what they're talking about is go outside and look at the clouds. On the break, that's what we're going to do if that's all right with your mother and father, right? We're going to walk outside and we're going to look at the clouds. And we'll see that the clouds don't stay still. The clouds, they move. Many times at night when we're searching for the sun, the new moon, I pray to your mind, I say, let the cloud move, because it be cloudy. And I pray to y'all, I said, just let it move just ever so slightly. And all of a sudden, the cloud, they'll break. And they'll move, and there'll be a thin window, and the sun will be right there. And not for long, just long enough for you to see it. And then they'll move, and they'll move, flow right back, and they'll cover it right back up again. Because the clouds, they are commanded by the Almighty. They're commanded. And they're in this expanse. Go ahead.
And Elohim made the firmament.
And they help to divide the waters above
from the waters
below. Go ahead.
Divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament. And Elohim called the firmament heaven. And the evening and the morning were the second day. And Elohim said, let the waters under the heaven be gathered together.
That's good.
Unto one place.
That's good. Just want her to see this firmament or Raki, which help retain moisture. They help retain the water. They help be a barrier between the waters above. At the command of the Almighty, these same clouds water and drop water or drop condensation. Not only water, but will drop down the dew.
Yes, sir.
That's what they do.
Yes, sir.
And I'm going to show you a little bit more in a minute. We'll see another scripture. But let's go back to Ecclesiastes.
Hallelujah.
But they've been doing the same thing since day one, since they was created, because that which have been, it is now. And that which is to be, already have been. The Almighty require that which is past.
And moreover, I saw under the sun the place of judgment, that wickedness was there,
Yes,
and the place of righteousness, that iniquity was there.
there's been corruption in the earth. There's been corruption in the earth.
I said in my heart, Elohim shall judge the righteous and the wicked, for there is time. But there is a time there for every purpose and for every work.
But understand, nobody going to escape judgment. With all the corruption, nobody going to escape judgment. Go ahead.
I said in my heart concerning the estate of the sons of men, that Elohim might manifest them, and that they might see they themselves are beasts.
See, we beasts too.
Yes, sir.
We the highest form of beast, but
Yes, sir.
we consider beasts. That's why some of us can still be beastly. If we're not guided by the Almighty, we can be beastly. Because we nothing but beasts.
That's right.
We just a higher form of beast. We became a higher form of beast in the day that we did what the Creator told our father Adam and Eve not to do. This lingering or getting also into a question that I received. That no, evilness and learning evilness, because this does go right along with that. Learning evilness and wickedness did not come from the angels. They did not teach us that. Because before, in the introduction with them, we learned that. We learned the concept of evil and having a choice freely of evil and good by disobeying the Almighty.
Yes, sir.
Not by the influence of any angelical being.
All right.
And when we learned that concept of independently being able to rationalize good and evil on our own, many of the shortcomings came with it. Many shortcomings. Because, as I said again, we are the highest form of creation. But we are nothing but beasts. In a lot of sense. We're supposed to be men. We're supposed to be in sons of Elohim, but a lot of us are beasts. That's why we do beastly things. That's why we understand on a bestial level. Because we won't give ourselves to the level that we're supposed to be on. But he says in verse 19,
but that which befalleth the sons of men befalleth beasts.
For that same fate that falls on the sons of men, that same fate fall on the beasts of the earth.
Even one thing befalleth them, as the one dieth, so dieth the other.
In other words, all flesh die. There ain't no cow around here that's 1,000,000 or 1,000,000,000 years old. If he is, I want to see him.
Yea, they have all one breath.
They all have one what?
Breath.
They all have one breath.
So that a man have no preeminence above a beast, for all is vanity.
And that's why a righteous man, see, this is even knowledge and wisdom and understanding. That's why a righteous man, as the scriptures say, a righteous man regardeth the life of his beast.
Yes, sir.
Because he don't simply look at it as something to dominate or be over or treat any old kind of way. He
Hallelujah.
regard that life of his beast the way he regard even the life of another man. That's why, yes, if you own a pet, you're supposed to love that pet. You say, I see them treat that pet like that. They one of their sons or daughters. Yes, they should. Now, there's a limit that you don't cross. But if that beast have a life, then you regard the life of that beast. Because that beast was given life by the Creator. Since I understand the nature of the serpent, I just want to let the serpent let him go. Because I know his nature. His nature is what? What's his nature? Huh?
Split on the earth. Yeah.
See, that's not his nature. He haven't learned his nature. His nature since his punishment. His nature was what? He what? He have enmity between
him and man.
Man, and we have enmity between what? So what that says is, in our nature, if we haven't been taught any other kind of way, when we see one, we what?
Stomp his head.
No, we automatically what? Scared of it.
Scared of, yeah.
Huh? See, slow down, get this. We automatically, before we go to stomp it, because that's not our first reaction to stomp his head. Our first reaction when we see him is to draw back from it.
Yes, sir.
So if that's our nature having enmity with him, then his first nature having enmity with us is a what? He's scared. And that's why he draws back and curls up and draws back, because he's in fear of you, because that's his nature.
Yes, sir.
Y'all with me? I'm not making no sense to nobody.
That makes perfect sense. Yes, sir.
And that's why if you just do this, then he will do this. I don't have to back, because if I just do this, then he will simply, with all gladness, he's scared of me as much as I'm fear him. But you have to understand. See, that's the word.
Yes, sir. Hallelujah.
Now my secondary response is, yeah, buzz his head off. But if you understand nature, a simple and let him go on about his business. Verse. Yes, ma'am.
It was this huge, vicious looking dog in my yard last week, and I had passed by, and I was thinking to myself, what if I just walk on by, and this dog could just go on about his business, and I don't even have to pay it no attention, won't pay me no attention. And I did that, and we ain't paid each other no attention. That's one of the
Because in their original nature, if they have not been, see, that's what the Creator said in the day of Noah. And it's so now, but only because they've been tainted. Their original nature has been tainted. But in their original nature, there is no truly vicious species. Not as its nature. Outside of its original nature, yes. And I don't care how big he is. We have a young lady, she walked two gentle giants coming down, and they just be lumbering. Now, first thing we do when you see them go out, you go out there, you go, ooh. And you don't even want to sit your foot because they look, oh, they so big. But they just be, and they don't even be thinking about much. They just turn this head the other. They just trying to do what they. But Verse 20.
All go into one place.
Everything goes to one place.
All are of the dust,
All things are the dust.
and all turn to dust again.
And everything. That's why you can lay a man down with a lion. And when they both decompose, they both going back to the dust.
Yes, sir. Who knoweth the spirit of man that goeth upward?
Then Solomon said, who knows the spirit of man that go upward?
And the spirit of a beast that goeth downward to the earth.
Spirit of the beast, if it go down. Who knows the spirit of man go up and the spirit of beast go down?
No one knows. Wherefore I perceive that there is nothing better than that a man should rejoice in his own work, for that is his portion. For who shall bring him to see what shall be after him?
Well, Brother Solomon knew if the spirit of beast go up or go down. Because that's why he said up above, he said, all go to one place. So as it happens to a man, so happens to a what? Because that's where it came from in the first place. And it cannot be a living soul if it don't have the Ruach or the Spirit of the Almighty to come into it. Spirit, wind, force, breath. That's what I said. Nothing impervious to it. You fight a dog, put your hand over the dog and shut him out and see what he do. He gonna do the same thing a person would do if you put your hand over their nose and shut their mouth. He gonna panic and try and get away because his force, his life force is threatened.
Grab that mouth, top of that nose in that mouth.
Okay?
Dang.
Did it make any sense?
Hallelujah.
We learned anything?
Yes, sir.
Huh? Are we getting a question answered, Sister V, or tell me if I'm not hitting the marks, right? Where I need to go.
Hallelujah.
And we're going to answer a little more. Then we're going to roll over because, like I said, I want to definitely tackle this question because, yes, it's and we taught on it last week. Matter of fact, one of my brothers, they asked the question about the fallen angels. So we dove into the fallen angels last week, but we showed the fact that there is no, by scripture, there was no such a thing as a fallen angel. This is influence of New Testament, but there is no writings of fallen angels in the Almighty Word. This is New Testament influence, and this is Jewish legends and Jewish mysticism and Jewish misinterpretation of Scripture. So no, there were no fallen angels that came down and taught us how to rebel. Yes, as the Almighty stated, when He created the heaven, the earth, the sea, and all that therein is, even man, everything was good. He said, not was it good? He said it was very good. And then Moses, even when the Almighty told him and He told him to write this song, look at what Moses wrote. Go to Deuteronomy. Go to Deuteronomy. Yes, because even today, like I said, there's nothing new under the sun. 32.
Hallelujah.
There's nothing new under the sun.
Deuteronomy chapter 32.
That's why man can't get back to where he needs to get back to, because he always placing blame on something else. People say daily, he's doing that because the devil made him do it. Then they say he's possessed by demons. Well, what's a demon? Demon is a spiritual beast. And the conceptuality of a demon is he was a spiritual beast that used to be angelic. But when he got cast out of heaven, he became a demon. So now these same demons getting the people and make them do bad things and possess them. And he ain't possessed by nothing but his own evil wickedness. That's what he is. You got Deuteronomy 32,
Yes, sir.
verse 1.
Hallelujah.
We always read this, verse 1.
Give ear, O ye heavens, and I will speak, and hear, O earth, the words of my mouth. My doctrine shall drop as the rain. My speech shall distill as the dew, as the small rain upon the tender herb, and as the showers upon the grass. Because I will publish the name of Yahweh. Ascribe ye greatness unto our Elohim. He is the rock. His work is perfect.
His work is perfect.
For all his ways are judgment.
Mm-hmm.
An Elohim of truth.
Truth.
And without iniquity.
Yes.
Just and right is he.
He is all these things and more. Now look what he says.
They have corrupted themselves.
And in the script, I like to read mine. He said, the corruption is not his.
Hallelujah.
But it is the defect of his children. Meaning, and I tell people, anything that's wrong, don't lay that at the Creator. Because he is just, he is right. Everything about him is right. If there's any imperfection, anything wrong, you have to search the man or the creation of the Creator. Because there's something wrong with that person or that entity. But there's nothing wrong with Yah. Everything he has done it and it's perfect. It's perfect. The corruption is not his. It is the defect of his children. It is the defect of a perverse and crooked generation. Ain't nothing wrong with the Sabbath day. Never have been.
Hallelujah.
The corruption is us. We're the corruption.
Yes, sir.
It ain't even no argument if the Sabbath day is valid. We're the corruption. Every way of Yah. He is one. There is no argument. The corruption lies with us. That we come up and place another person beside him. Or uplift somebody else and elevate him and say, they with him. They need to be served too. That's us. That's not him. So the corruption is not his. The corruption is ours. Today, and the corruption was ours in the beginning. Let's go to
Hallelujah.
Let's go to Genesis.
Yes, sir.
Chapter 1.
Yes, sir.
Verse 26 through 28.
Hallelujah.
Verse 26 through 27.
Genesis chapter 1, verse 26. And Elohim said, let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth. So Elohim created man in his own image.
So he created man. He created Adam. Man, he created him in his own what?
In his own image.
And the image of Yah is what? Perfect, beautiful.
Perfect. Excellent.
In his own image created he him.
Male and female created he them.
Male and female created he him or them. And so when he created them and made them, making them after his own image, after his own likeness, how did that first man look? Perfect. Huh? Perfect. As they say, a perfect specimen.
He looked like Elohim.
He looked like Elohim, and he looked like all the angelic hosts.
Hallelujah.
Chapter 2.
Yes, sir.
Now, here's another thing, because this is where, first place, people get into corruption. Chapter 2, a lot of people will teach you, well, this is a whole nother creation.
Yes, sir.
And it's not. It's the same people that he spoke of in chapter 1. This ain't no new creation. This is going into more detail about how that person or those people, that man in chapter 1 was created. It's giving you more detail. And start at verse 4.
Hallelujah. These are the generations of the heaven and of the earth when they were created in the day that Yahweh Elohim made the earth and the heavens.
So when did time start?
When Yahweh made the earth and the heavens.
So how can you skip 3 days and start time? Think about that. Keep going. Keep going.
And every plant of the field before it was in the earth, and every herb of the field before it grew. For Yahweh Elohim had not caused it to rain upon the earth, and there was not a man to till the ground. But there went up a mist from the earth, and watered the whole face of the ground. And Elohim, and Yahweh Elohim formed man of the dust of the ground, and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life. Man became a living soul.
He became high nefesh, living soul. Living soul. Go ahead.
And Elohim, and Yahweh Elohim planted a garden eastward in Eden. And there he put the man whom he had formed.
And he put a special garden out in the east. See, he made a garden. He made man from the what?
Dust of the earth.
Dust of the ground. But he made a garden in another place. And he took man that he put from the dust of the ground and put him in the garden. Man was not conceived in the garden.
Hallelujah.
He was conceived outside the garden. Then he was put in the garden as a caretaker of the garden. He was not conceived, in other words, in paradise. He was meant to live to get away to paradise. Just as today, you're on the outside, trying to earn a way in. But he was not conceived within, as many movies and depictions would show you, that he woke up and he was already in the Garden of Eden. No.
And he did not know his wife in the Garden of Eden either.
He was on the outside when he was conceived, and Yahweh put him in the garden. Go ahead.
And Elohim planted a garden eastward in Eden. And there he put the man whom he had formed.
And there he put the man whom he had formed.
And out of the ground made Yahweh Elohim to grow every tree that is pleasant to the sight and good for food. The tree of life also in the midst of the garden.
Now it said every tree that's pleasant and that's good for food. Right?
Right,
And then there's a semicolon. Right?
right.
And then that means change thought.
In
So there was
addition to-
also, in addition to all those trees that were good to look at and good for food, there was the tree of life.
Yes, sir.
And what else?
And the tree of knowledge of good and evil.
So you had all these trees around it, but in the midst of them were two specialized trees. And yes, there's still not a woman.
Yes, sir.
He's alone here. Go ahead.
And a river went out of Eden to water the garden, and from thence it was parted and became into 4 heads.
Mm-hmm.
The name of the first is Pison.
Uh-huh.
That is which compasses the whole land of Havilah,
Havilah, yes. And if you know where Havilah is, you're going to know that ain't in Europe.
where there is gold.
It's not in Asia. You study and get your maps and study your geography. See, this is why I said the book is more than what it makes you go into learning.
Hallelujah.
Because you say to yourself, well, where is this? If this were man created, where is this? Is this where the garden? Where is this Havilah?
Hallelujah.
Let me go study.
Right.
And then you start to learn about land mass.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
And the gold of that land is good.
Uh-huh.
There is bendulum
Yes.
and the onyx stone.
Yes.
The name of the second river is Gahan.
Uh-huh.
The same is that. The same is it that compasses the whole land of Ethiopia.
So now you say, what? And more books that say Kush. So now you say, what is this Kush? And it compasses that, means it's around that. Where is this place? Let me go search it out. And you'll find that is Abyssinia or Kush. And then you'll find that Kush is in Africa. And you'll say, oh, wait a minute. So the garden,
I thought it was in Europe.
it's near Africa. Go ahead.
And the name of the second river is Gihon.
No, the third. We on the third one now.
The name of the third river is Hiddekel. That is it which goeth toward the east of Assyria.
Uh-oh.
And the fourth river is the Euphrates.
Uh-oh. Uh-huh.
And Yahweh Elohim took the man and put him into the Garden of Eden to dress it
and
to keep it.
There to dress it and to keep it. And when he put him there, Yahweh Elohim did what?
Commanded the man.
Commanded him. Didn't suggest, didn't ask him. He commanded him, saying,
of every tree of the garden thou mayest freely eat.
That was all those trees that was good to sight and made for food. Of all these, I don't care. Of all of them, because that's what they made for. They made for food. Eat them. Of all of them, eat. But of the tree of the knowledge
of good
and evil, you shall not what?
Eat of it.
You shall not eat of it, because in the day that you eat of it, the time that you partake of it, you will die a death. See, they tell them, they don't just say you will die. In the Masoretic text, it say you will die the death. What death? The death of the purity of his spirit. The death that he had in the relationship that he had with the Almighty, where he was in that man that was made after Yahweh's image in his life, that was near perfection or was perfect, that man died. Am I losing y'all now?
No.
Come on now. Am I losing you? That's why it was important to understand when he said, let us make man in our image after our likeness. So in the image of Elohim made he him, male and female made he them. That man was made, and if he was made in Yah's image after Yah's likeness, then he was made in perfection. But the day that he disobeyed the commandment of Yah, he got brought into this world imperfection. And that's why Moses wrote, the corruption is not Yah's, but the corruption is that of his children. He became corruptible. Because with this great power of being able to know the difference solely by himself between good, which was always here, and the force of evil, which was always here, it was something that was too much. See, sometimes to give people a certain amount of power, a certain amount of authority is too much for them. And it actually corrupts them. And this ability to discern between knowledge of good and evil on its own, when that happened, it became too much. And for a lot of men, it's too much.
Yes,
So
sir.
they're too weak.
Yes, sir.
I can tell you that's why they often have them shows, the little angel right here and the little devil right here. That's what that's signifying. And they both be in the ear of this one person who will win over with the good or with the evil. And most of the time in this world, especially now, it's the one that's evil that wins over. But the force of good and evil is tugging on you and I constantly. It's which one do you give into? Because now you have that independent ability to consciousness to do so. Up until he does that, everything that he has done, he's led solely by the Creator. That's why he stayed away from it. There's not no chauvinistic thing. That's why he stayed away from it, because he was straightway commanded to stay away from it. Keep reading.
And Yahweh Elohim said, it is not good that man should be alone. I will make him a helpmeet for him.
Because remember, at this time, he's still alone.
That's right.
There's nobody here with him. So there goes that theory that he had. We're going to straighten out the correct thing. There goes the theory that he had another wife before he had Eve.
All
But
right.
there's nobody here, or the Almighty will be a liar. The Almighty said he is what? It's not good that he what? Be alone. Now, if he ain't alone, then why the Almighty going to say that?
Right?
All right.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Go ahead.
And out of the ground, Yahweh Elohim formed every beast of the field and every fowl of the air, and brought them unto Adam to see what he would call them. And whatsoever Adam called every living creature, that was the name thereof. And Adam gave names to all cattle, and to the fowl of the air, and to every beast of the field. But for Adam, there was not found a helpmeet for him.
But for him, there is nothing suitable. There is no help for him.
And
Sound like he's still alone, don't it?
Yeah.
All right.
And Yahweh Elohim caused a deep sleep to fall upon Adam. And he slept. And he took one of his ribs and closed up the flesh instead thereof. And the rib which Yahweh Elohim had taken from man, made he a woman, Isha, and brought her to the man. And Adam said,
That's good. Now
Hallelujah.
jump to chapter 3. Because at the time, we rightfully, as Christians say, we rightfully dividing the word of the Lord. Jump to chapter 3.
Yes,
And we
sir.
have found that at the time the commandment was given, because some people used to debate that. How did he know? Did she know? Did the Almighty tell her? Well, the book is telling us. No, the Almighty didn't tell her. Because she wasn't there. But in chapter 3, we're going to find out she know. So how does she know?
When we find out also Adam knew his wife in this chapter.
Yeah, we'll find that out too.
Hallelujah.
But how does she know about the tree? Her husband. This go back to, I know. This go back to teaching the question that my brother asked about a few weeks about the woman, the man, and the set order of things. Let's go all the way back to that. People don't want to hear it.
That's right.
But that's only because our mindset and our spirit ain't right.
Hallelujah.
But the set order of things was man and a woman was meant to follow or be a God or be along with the righteous man.
Hallelujah.
And he was meant to guide her in righteousness. And then you have the children that they both guide in righteousness.
Hallelujah.
If we get our mind right. This ain't to say the woman is a lesser vessel. This ain't to say all that crap. This just a set order thing. Because that, even from creation, that's how she knew not to touch the tree. Because the Almighty gave Adam, man, the commandment. He told his wife, once the Almighty gave him that wife, he told her, hey, that we can't touch.
Hallelujah.
Because he told us not to touch. It goes for me as well as you. And then the children, they would have told them, had they stayed in the right frame of mind, they would have told the children that was not to be touched. Of course, they didn't get a chance to do that because they was kicked out.
That's right.
Verse 1.
Hallelujah. Genesis chapter 3, verse 1. Now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field which Yahweh Elohim had made. And he said unto the woman, Ye have Elohim, yea, have Elohim said, Ye shall not eat of every tree of the garden? And the woman said unto the serpent, We may eat of the fruit of the trees of the garden, but of the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, Elohim have said, Ye shall not eat of it, neither shall ye touch it, lest ye die. And the serpent said unto the woman, Ye shall not surely die. For Elohim doth know that in the day you eat thereof, then your eyes shall be opened, and ye shall be as dead. Ye shall be as dead. Ye should be as deities, knowing good and evil.
You should be as Elohim, knowing good and evil.
Elohim, knowing good and evil.
And having this, because this is a power that even the sons of Elohim, they understood the concept of good and evil. And he was saying, you'll be just, you won't need, in other words, he told you won't need to be guided by a higher power. You have the ability to guide yourself. If you know good and evil, you have the ability to pave your own way. Who needs a high? That's what he's trying to get. Who needs a higher power? Who needs a higher authority? Don't you want to be your own judge? Don't you want to make your own laws? Don't you want to live how you want to live? Well, that's why he told you not to eat it, because in the day that you'll be able to do all that. This is what he's challenging her with. This is what he's putting in her head. Why are you letting him tell you what to do?
Right.
Same way people
Same way that
are
little
doing
joke.
today.
Yeah,
Even though they say they God fearing, they tell why you living like that? Well, that's the same spirit that's in this serpent. And they don't know that they have it. But what she learned from her husband, who got it from the Almighty. And everything went wrong when they partook of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Not when angels came down and taught them the knowledge of good and evil. There and again, I say that is Jewish legend and Jewish mysticism, found in such books, like I said last week, as the Zohar and the Book of Enoch, and all these crazy books that they have written because of the mystery surrounding them. But that's what they found in. But the Almighty Word, and we said earlier, His word is what? Every word of Yah is what?
Pure.
He's a what?
A shield unto them that put their trust in.
And the same thing that you see in operation in the day of creation, you see that same thing, and you understand the nature of people today and the nature of the world today.
Yes, sir.
Because it's never went nowhere.
Hallelujah.
We're being taught by the best.
Hallelujah.
You just, like I said earlier, and that's what he said in Proverbs. The problem is some people, like I said, they, one, have given up the word of the Almighty. And then we've been taught that the word of the Almighty don't mean much. And we've been taught it's only supposed to put us on some kind of emotional trip. And well, I know it be a little taxing on us when we come in here. I know it does, because yes, it's like going to school. You get a lot of information, and the brain is, but we here to learn as well.
Hallelujah.
We ain't just here to send us on no emotional trip. We're here to learn. Because the Almighty is instructing us.
Yes, sir.
He's not got us in no emotional frenzy. He's literally instructing us, because that's what Torah means, instruction. It's through instruction we return back to Him.
If you're willing to receive instruction.
So we get instruction. We get taught. That's why a lot of people, they'll come and go, ooh, there wasn't no organs and drums and people jumping. Now we play music. But we gonna learn. We gonna learn.
Torah.
We gonna learn.
Yeah.
The men corrupt things.
Yes, sir.
And the Almighty, they corrupt His word. Like I
Yes,
said, ain't
they
nothing, even though it's translated and it have some flaws, but it ain't nothing wrong with this. It ain't nothing wrong with the word of the Almighty for me, because He able to make the crooked thing straight. So there ain't nothing wrong with this. Everything that's wrong with this is something that our mind have conceived and twisted up. But if you let the Almighty teach you and instruct you, you can overcome. You can overcome these things that are wrong. Let's go to the book of Job. We're going to break about 4:30. So we can come back about 5:30. So we can have a little more time to learn. Because I have to start adjusting things, because guess what? We learned.
Yes,
Did y'all
sir.
learn? Y'all learned that the days is what?
Shorter.
Shorter.
It gets shorter.
Huh? They getting shorter. But to all the people that think they know more than the Almighty.
Yeah, they out there.
And they out there.
Yes, they is.
And some of them, they good brothers. They still brothers of mine.
Yes, they are.
And I got to say this, so I can't pull no punches. They good brothers.
Yes,
But
they
when
are.
you think you know more than the Almighty, then there's a problem.
He said gonna show you a light.
There's a problem. And you talk about you don't count this, you don't count that, you don't. There's a problem.
Big problem.
I count like the Almighty count. And that's why the book is written called Bereshit, mean in the beginning.
Hallelujah.
If I say let's begin, if I told you right now, let's begin our break, that means we getting ready to start what?
Right.
All right, and that's when we start.
All right.
You ain't gonna see it and be like, half hour later, now we're gonna begin. But for all men to think they greater than the Almighty, prophet, priest, teacher, king, better get a load of this. Job
Yes, sir.
38.
Hallelujah.
No, the angels didn't have to teach us bad behavior. We learned that once we got that knowledge of good and evil.
Yes, sir.
We learned how to make war. We learned how to destroy each other. That's what Cain did. He got the knowledge of good and evil. He learned how to kill his brother.
Yes, sir.
We learned how to sin against Yah once we got that.
Yes, sir.
Because we stopped relying on the Creator for our ultimate source of everything. And people are doing it today. They stopped relying on Him for the ultimate source of everything. And that's why the world is in the pitiful shape that it's in. But look at Job 38, verse 1.
Hallelujah. Then Yahweh answered Job out of the whirlwind and said,
And look where He answered him out of. When He came to him, He didn't come to him calm and nice. He came to him in a whirlwind. Meaning He picked him up, a whirlwind. Sometimes it says super, but whirlwind also, like Elijah picked him up in a whirlwind. So He picked him up. He answered him out the whirlwind.
who is this that darkened counsel by words without knowledge?
See, if it was a movie, I would like this scene because that whirlwind would be spinning and there'd be a voice coming out and he talking to him. The actors of y'all go, ooh, ah, yeah. I'm sorry I can't provide that for you, but I'm going to get as close as I can. But out that whirlwind, a voice, He was speaking to him. And He said with His voice that sounded like the multitude of waters, meaning very deep and echoing. He said to him, who is this that darkeneth my counsel by words without knowledge? Meaning you talking and you don't even know what you're saying, man. Go ahead.
Gird up now thy loins like a man, for I will demand of thee an answer thou me.
He says, but since you've been talking and running your trap, don't get scared now that I'm here. You was demanding of me to come and give you some answers. Don't get scared now that I've shown myself. Gird up your loins like a man. Stand up. Be bold. But I'm going to answer you. I'm going to ask you some questions. You give me some answers. And let's see how you are.
Rise for your elder. Shabbat shalom.
Shalom. And
maybe see Job 38, verse 2.
And see, not to be antagonistic, not to start anything, not to create trouble, but that's the only reason why I am a stickler when I talk or I bring up about skipping time or telling me to start time other than when the Almighty started time, because the very first thing that the Creator asked Job, the very first question that He came to him and asked him, look at what it is. He said, where was thou when I laid the foundations of the earth?
Yeah.
That's the very first question He asked him. It's the same question I ask anybody today when we start reading Bereshit. which means in the beginning. And I asked him, when was that? And no man have been able to answer that question. Because you don't know. Because where was you or where was I when the beginning was? And that's what he asked him. Where were you when I laid the foundation of the earth? Declare if you have understanding. Then he said, who have laid the measure thereof? Still talking about the earth. If you know it. Or who have stretched the line upon it? How deep, how far does it actually go? Whereupon the sockets thereof made to sink. In the Torah I have, it says, whereupon the foundations are set. And Sister Via, you have your concordance with you? Get it, please. Because you're going to help me with something that we go through this real quick. And that's what it meant in verse 6. He said, whereupon the sockets are made to sink. He said, whereupon the foundations are fastened. Then he goes on to say, or who laid the cornerstone thereof? Can anybody in here tell me where the cornerstone of the earth is? Huh? Because if you tell me that, I'm going home right now. You a bad friend. I'm not coming back. I'm gone. Ask any man to tell you where the cornerstone is of the earth. Then he said, when the morning stars sang together, and all the sons of Elohim shouted for joy. Here he's talking about the angelic sons. Where was you at when that happened? Or who shut up the sea with the doors when it broke forth, as if it had issued out of the womb? Who was there when that happened? When the seas were just raging, like it says in the beginning, when they were just raging, and it was water untested all around the planet, just uncensored. Who was there when they were shut up? Where my little sister at? Watch this, little daughter. You got the book? Got your book? Watch this next verse. He said, who was there when I made the cloud the garment thereof? You see that? Who was there when I made the cloud the garment thereof? And the thick fog that passes over. You ever seen them pictures or movies or places where there's that fog that passes over water?
Yeah.
Huh? If you're familiar with states like Maine and New Hampshire along the water side, it's a lot. You see it all the time. Fog just pass over it. He said, who was there? Who was there and established for it my decree and set bars and doors for it? And who said hither thereto, speaking to the waters, thou shalt come, but no further, and here shall your proud waves be stayed. Creator said, who was there? And now, Sister Bia, this is where you're going to help me at, if you don't mind. He asked Ayub another question. He said, have you commanded the morning since your days? You see that? Huh? And called the what? What does it say? Good. You didn't even need your concordance. What your book say, Sister Ben?
Day spring.
Day spring. Because in some translations it says the sun. But that's not what's there. He's saying day spring.
That's the light
The light.
of day.
Because that's when every day starts.
The light of day. Before the sun
And he said,
comes
and
up.
that's how it's always been since creation.
Yes, sir.
Every morning, every day has started with the light of day, has started with day spring, and not when the sun or not when the light is fleeting and leaving.
All right.
And that's what he asked him. How long have you done this since you've been alive, or have days been like this before you was alive?
Ooh.
And of course, yes, that's your answer. Have you commanded the morning? Because that was the first thing he commanded. He said, let there be light. And there was light.
Hallelujah.
And the light he called day. And that's what he asked. Was you there to do this?
No.
And they all said, right now he's saying, no. And did you call the day spring, which is the beginning of day, to know its place, that it might take hold of the ends of the earth, that the wicked might be shaken out of it? It is transformed as a ceiling clay, and all things stand as a new garment. And from the wicked their light is withholden, and the lofty arm shall be broken. Have you entered into the springs of the sea? Or have you walked in search of the depths? Have you been to the deepest parts? Not even Jacques Cousteau made it there. Then he asked him this. Have the gates of death been open to you? Raise your hand if you got to the gates of death. Most of us is fighting, trying to stay away from the gates. Huh? You don't want the gates. You don't even want to see the gates of death.
I thought I was there one time. Huh? I felt like it.
But yeah, it's like, he said, have you seen it? Have they been open to you? Huh? Or have you seen the doors of the shadow of death? Have you perceived the breath of the earth? Declare it, if thou knowest it all. He said, where is the way where light dwelleth? And as for darkness, where is the place thereof? That thou should take it and bound thereof, and that thou should know the path to the house thereof. Knowest thou it because you were born then, or because the number of thy days is great? Have you entered into the treasuries of the snow? Have you seen the treasuries of the hail? Yeah, I was driving the other day, one of them storms, and all of a sudden I heard pit, 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 pit. It's 9 degrees outside, 8 degrees outside, and you got frozen pebbles hitting on your car. Mike said, look what Craig said. He said, all this is reserved for me. He said, have you been to these treasuries? He called this treasuries. He said, this is reserved for me. He said, which I have reserved against the time of trouble, against the day of battle and war. He's talking about they're going to make war on him. Man, please. He called his forces out of his church. His lights out. Was you there with me? Or who can you say was with me that cut a channel for the overflowing rain? Or made a path for the lightning of thunder? That caused it to rain on the earth where no man is, on the wilderness wherein is no man. Back to page good attention to that because he said that they telling him over in Africa, the places now becoming where they were deserts, they're becoming oases. Where there was not a grain of grass, grass is starting to grow up. Where no man is inhabiting these places, they're not irrigating these places, they're not cutting channels in these. This is starting to happen, and it's a phenomenon.
Oh, God.
To satisfy the desolate and waste ground, to cause the bud of the tender herb to spring forth. Does the rain have a father? Or who have begotten the drops of dew? This is what he asking. This is the conversation between the Almighty and Job. He said, out of whose womb came ice and the hairy frost of heaven? Who gave birth to it? The waters are frozen as hard as stone, and the face of the deep is bound with feathers. Now watch this, because this gets real deep. Because remember now, Job is said to predate even Moses. He's a man out of the east, out of the land of Uz. So it's an old book. It's an ancient book. And watch and understand that our people, or these ancient people, even knew about planetary surroundings. Because look at what the Almighty is getting ready to ask. Can thou bind the sweet influence of, in this Greek terminology, that's sprinkled in here a little bit, Pleiades, or loosen the bands of Orion? Now I know y'all heard about Orion.
Orion's
They
belt.
call it, what they call it, brother?
Orion's belt.
Yes.
That's when you look
And
up
this
and
is
you
a
see
cluster.
band of stars.
This is a cluster of stars.
Well, some will say that third is a planet called Cubulon.
This is a cluster, yes. They say many things, but this is a cluster of stars. And then he says, can you bring forth Mazzaroth in his season with his young? And Arcturus is the constellation that they still see if you, and I wasn't. And then the Creator says, well, let me finish this up. He says, knowest thou the ordinances of heaven? Do you know the way they're supposed to work? Can you define them? Can you orchestrate them? Can you set the dominion thereof in the earth? Can you lift up your voice to the clouds? That the abundance, hear that cloud again, little sister. Can you tell the clouds and command them that the abundance of waters that's in them may cover you? See, that's his doing. When he said release and the rain come down and he shuts it off like a faucet. Can you send lightning that they may go and say unto thee, here we are? Who will put wisdom in the clouds, or have given understanding to the meteors? Uh-oh. Look at all of this that the Creator is talking about. And the book ain't supposed to be accurate. Who can order the clouds in wisdom? Or who can empty the bottles of heaven when the dust groweth into hardness and the clods cleave fast together? When the ground gets so devoid of water that it cracks and just dried up. You know, might say, I know it's time to water. Will you hunt the prey for the lion? See, we be looking at TV thinking the lion just out there. No, the Almighty is giving them time. The Creator said, will you hunt the prey for the lion, or feel the appetite of the young lions when they couch in their dens and abide in the cover to lie in wait? Who provides food for the raven when his young ones cry unto El? They wander for lack of meat. Any of us do that?
No, sir.
Any of us that great?
No, sir.
I'm 39. He's still going.
He's still going, yeah, he lays it out for him. He lays it out for him to put him in his place and to make him understand that even though he's a very accomplished person, because he was very accomplished. And not only him, that's why this book is so great, as accomplished as you and I might be. And all our learning, we are indebted, and our knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, our source of learning, our main source of learning is always first and supposed to be from the Creator. Not taking us away from any other schooling that we do, but let the Almighty be the first source of knowledge. And if that's achieved, that's how kings can come on at 8 years old. You have young men, you have a young man, and we get ready to take our break. He was in college. It was the last phone call that I did get. This young man was in college at the age of 9 years old. He was standing against a backboard on the wall, and he had wrote out and was able to break down the equation that they had. They had one of them, I'm talking about one of the long equations. And there were nothing but scientists, doctors, and people with degrees in the room with him. This young 9-year-old was breaking it down from start to nation. They had a video breaking down from start to finish without a hiccup. 9 years old. All them doctors, all them scum, they sat in the room, and their mouth, it was shut at him. And then when he got done breaking it down, he went to giggling and laughing like a little kid. Playing with toys like a little kid. But when they asked him, when they put him in front of that board and said, we're going to test him and see, he went from start till he got to the finish. And nobody was back there in the back about, say this. Nah. Truth of it is, why don't we think our kids can do that? Just what I said. Because we don't think they can do that.
All right.
And we don't challenge them to do that.
Yes, sir. And don't trust in God.
I ain't talking about y'all. My hand went up first.
Hallelujah.
I said, we don't think they can do it. That's how we talk. Now, don't teach him that. He too young.
Right.
Y'all heard that?
Yeah.
I heard when I, don't teach him that. He too young.
That's it.
And that's the ideal time to teach. Because his mind is moving. The synapses of his brain is clicking like that. He's looking around, bam, 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 bam. As long as you keep it going and keep it in front of him, he will absorb it. Because only as you get older, this goes from to
know nothing no
Nothing.
more. Jump!
Huh?
Ain't hit no nothing
And then
no more.
I know I shouldn't, but I gotta throw it in there. And not only that, then the things grab them when they're young, but then the existential influences,
Yes, sir.
like drinking,
Yes, sir.
like smoking,
Yes, sir.
like certain foods with the chemical makeup of the food that automatically registers on the brain
Yes, sir.
to help start slowing down the
Yes,
thinking
sir.
process. That mind comes out. As I told my brother last week when he brought his son and he was saying our son this and that. I said, ain't nothing wrong with that boy. Didn't we say that last week?
Yes, sir.
I said, I'm looking at the boy right now. I said, ain't nothing wrong with that boy. All you got to do is accept him for where he is right now and work with him how he is. I said, but I'm looking at the boy right now, and his mind is still primed for learning. You just got to know now, you got to teach him and instruct him maybe in a different way, but he's still primed for learning. They told my brother down in Georgia, oh, your son is done. He'll never talk. He this, he that. They won't go in, cut all on brain off. Now the young fella's down there, hallelujah, hallelujah, and saying other words.
Yep. Sing a song. Period.
I'm not telling you let medicine have a place, but I'm telling us that the Almighty is calling on us to get back to letting him be what he is. And that is the center of everything.
Hallelujah.
And that is the challenge these young minds
Yes, sir.
that might be next kings,
Yes, sir.
queens,
Hallelujah.
rulers of nations.
Hallelujah.
Healers.
Hallelujah.
They don't just have to be the next Rick Ross,
All right.
Michael Jordan,
All right.
Denzel. They don't have to be just that. They could be the next, who was it, Washington or Carver? 1,000 uses for the peanut.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But the mind is a muscle as well. We'll urge them to go around and live and get big, but we won't urge them to use this. And whether he does or not, that ain't on. But I stay on, especially though I stay on to use to sharpen this. Because as I said, this will take care of itself. But sharpen this. Last thing I leave, everybody talk about David, the warrior. But nobody talking about David when he walked with Yah, how sharp this was. Why he even got access to his enemies.
Yeah.
Because his mind.
Wisdom.
He didn't go threatening them talking about, don't you know I killed Goliath, y'all better let me in? It was his mind. And with his mind, he played a fool on him. He played a fool's trick on him. I'm dumb. Clear way for the dumb. Clear way for the dumb. And nobody is all that dummy. Look at him. And the dummy walking all the way through the gate. Dummy got in the gate. He said, David, yeah, kill Goliath. All right. He come to kill us. I ain't come to kill y'all, man. I sit down somewhere. I don't speak with you. And from the day he got in there, King of Kings said, you ain't been nothing but an angel in my presence. But his mind. His mind.
Yes, sir.
Any comments as we get ready to break? Thank you, Elder. Praise y'all. And not just the children. Come on, y'all. Come on. You ain't dead.
What?
Ain't no reason why you can't learn. Stop talking about I'm 50 years, I'm 60 years, I can't learn. Man, stop that. Stop that crap.
They can't teach old dog new tricks.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can. I took an old dog. I took an old dog and taught him tricks all the time.
Uh-huh.
I took my sister's dog. I never been trained from his youth. Wow. Lanny was just wild. Running around. Hey. I took her about 3 years old. She just jump up on you. Hi. Just ram. I got a hold to her one time. I said, "No, we're going to train you." When I got done with it, you sit. Don't move. Come. My sister said, "What you do to her?" What you didn't do to her. Didn't take a little time. Put a little effort.
Yeah.
Little patience. Because while I was teaching her, I was learning. It was the same way with my job. When I was teaching him, I was learning.
Yes,
I said, "Man, look at what it." And it was sharp. Wasn't talking about, "Oh, yeah, I can't teach nothing because he's about 8 months." I just come, sit, stay. They looking. They even look to me, but you can run around this. No, it's like that. Your children, like they looking. And we should be learning. And the elder told me, he said, "You walk a day and ain't learned nothing." He said, "You spent the day in vain.
Yes, sir.
Better off dead."
Yes, sir.
You can go through a day and say you ain't learned nothing.
Oh, yeah.
Say you spent it in vain. You better off dead. Stop thinking you can't learn nothing. You ain't supposed to learn nothing. Got an old woman graduated from college, what, 8, 9 years old, 9 years old? I saw a couple of hands. Yes, daughter. Barcelona.
I know everybody done heard me say like my mama had a stroke. So my mom learned it again and we teaching her. We learned my mom how to like read again, our name, who we are, where is she at, what time of day it is, how I feel outside, see, all of that. So you never too old.
And if she had any muscle memory interruption, you have to teach her how to even,
Right, we do.
you know, and you move that arm for her and everything, and you doing it, but in the process of time, you'll see her be able to, you'll let it go, and she'll be able to.
Yeah, be very touchy. So man, I know my hand today, look.
Because she can learn.
Yeah.
I saw another hand. Yes, ma'am.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Praise to the Most High Yah. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
I heard you use the term that's been on my mind lately with the questions about evil being brought to the earth, the sons of Elohim. At one point, I was taught two different things about it. That the sons of Elohim were the messengers.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
The other thing that I was taught was the sons of Elohim are the men that are living for Yah.
Which is also correct. Because and it's correct because it's based on what we just read. See, when he spoke to the sons of Elohim, he was speaking to the angelical beings. And he said, "Let us make man in our image, after our likeness, let us make them." And so if man would live, if he would live in what the state he was created to live in, he would reside like and be like the son of Elohim. He would be, especially Israel, with all the Almighty has equipped us with. That's what he said. We would be B'nai Yisrael if we live like we were originally created to live. He said, but we do not live like that. So as a course of not living like that, we die like the children of men. That's why we have a lot of violence, like the children of men. Now, the children of men, who was that? That was the seed of Cain.
That's right.
And what was the seed of Cain? A lot of violence, a lot of deprivation, a lot of all the things that went wrong with man. Corruption, ultimate corruption. And that's why the Creator says in the book of Psalms, and then we are going to break. I know I keep saying it, but Psalms. See, once you understand these dynamics, it all makes sense. Psalms 82.
Yes, sir. Psalms 82.
Psalms 82.
Yes, sir. Hallelujah.
Verse 1.
Elohim standeth in the congregation of the mighty.
And I want you to rewind that, brother. I don't want you to read it like
Hallelujah. Elohim standeth in the congregation of the mighty.
because we have a mighty Elohim.
Hallelujah.
And he's ready to stand with his people.
Hallelujah.
He's ready to come to the aid and the rescue of Israel.
Yes, sir.
With all the forces that we just read that he controlled. He's ready to send upon all of Israel's enemies. He's ready to send upon them fire, hail, stormy vapor, wind. He's ready to snow. He's ready to send all his forces. He got them on standby. He's ready to stand with us.
Hallelujah.
Even our angelic brothers. He's ready to stand with us. He's ready to stand, and he does stand in the congregation of the mighty. Now, we don't even know we mighty.
All right.
We weak,
Go ahead.
and we
brother.
accepted being weak.
Go ahead.
We pitiful, and we've accepted being pitiful.
Yes, sir.
That's why we don't want to do no better.
All right.
And the Almighty is saying, can't stand with y'all. You won't even stand up for yourself. Like you say, you're helping your mother regain her strength. And she want to regain her strength. Because if she don't want to regain her strength, she'll resist, and ain't all the help y'all give in the world ain't going to help her.
That's right.
But you able to help her because this is what she wants.
Hallelujah.
What the Almighty is saying that about, when do you want to really be helped?
Okay.
And if that's the case, you got to do something to help yourself.
Go ahead.
But he's ready to stand with us. Go ahead.
He judges among the Elohim.
He judges amongst the strong.
How long will you judge unjustly?
And that's why he had to come back and ask this question. Well, if that's the case, well, how long do you judge unjustly?
And accept the persons of wicked.
And I see all this wickedness that's accepted. Seem like you accepted it. Let me think about it. Salah. Now the Almighty come back and talks.
Defend the poor.
Defend the poor
And the fatherless.
and the fatherless.
Do justice.
Do justice.
To the afflicted and needy.
Do this. Because this is what righteous people do.
Deliver the poor.
Deliver the poor
And needy.
and needy.
Rid them out of the hand of the wicked.
Take them out the hand of the wicked.
They know not.
Because the wicked don't know nothing.
Neither will they understand.
And they won't understand.
They walk on in darkness.
They walk on in darkness. That's why my job as a man seeking righteousness in the Almighty, that's why it's my job. It ain't about no political. It's my job to tell people, stop trusting and vote. I'm trying to take you out the hands of this wicked man. And that wicked man is the same wicked man that's standing on the side, talking about what he gonna do for you, and he ain't gonna do nothing for you.
Yes, sir.
You can get rid of Trump all day long, and you'll replace one wicked man with another wicked man.
Yes, sir.
Because that's all that's been going on. We can't come around and tell people, go register and vote. Later for that. Time for that never have been and is gone. Because that's not even the message of the Almighty. And you got some Israelites running around here talking about, oh, we got to vote like everybody else. How are you helping them? And you keeping them seeing the way that this lie has been perpetrated on us. Well, I'm not going to do it. And I'm not going to apologize for it no more.
Hallelujah.
Or be soft-hearted about it no more. You don't vote? No. You want to? No. We trying to break them out the hand of the wicked. They trying to keep them in. Then he said, all the foundations of the earth. Look at what he says. The foundations of the earth are what? Out of course. No, he said all the foundations of the earth are out of course. We know what's wrong with this place. So we can't sing the same song that other people sing. Not to make them mad, but just for a point right now. And I love all of them. I love him. But right now, they up there celebrating with my blood brother, my oldest blood brother. They up there celebrating. And I know they got a feast. My mama went up there. And I know they got a spread. And they celebrating the fact that he today is getting ordained, and tonight he is getting ordained to be a deacon. They said, well, ain't you coming up?
Oh, the Shabbat.
Right. Even if it wasn't there.
Right.
My mama told me, she said, you know that. I said, who? That was the first thing that came out of my lips. Who? She said, your brother, boy. I said, what? I said, yeah. New to me. Wow. But that's just being polite. That's just one more person. Because I can't and I won't not speak on behalf of the Almighty. Be respectful. Here he is, my brother. That's just one more person that's on the road to being part of the problem. Say, what boy? I'm talking about a brother. Yes. He's just one more brick in the road to being part of the problem.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
If he's going to be indoctrinized to teach about a false idol
That's right.
that got our people where they at, he's just one more brick that they making to put in the road to the pathway of hell. And I don't mind telling him. And I will when he get down here or when I get across his path. And I know that's why we ain't going to have that conversation. Because as I tell them, want to be happy? No, you don't want me to come up there to his ordination.
Yes, sir.
Because I'm going to mess up the party if I would have came up there.
Right.
Because I'm coming with the word of the Almighty. And y'all going to be like, yeah, see, ain't time. Y'all always got to come in. That's what I'm coming with. Because I'm going to challenge you. Because I'm certainly hoping and looking for the day when he comes down here. Because you're the deacon, now you're supposed to know something about the word. Well, let's see if you do.
Let's see what you know.
Brother, no, brother. That don't make no difference. So I was not going up there to celebrate something that I know is the ultimate part of our destruction. Loving to death. But I'm not happy. Because the earth is out of course. Because for thousands of years, a time, and in the midst of a dividing of time, they have accepted the abomination that maketh desolate. And have been teaching it. But the Creator said, I have said to you that know me and choose me and the things that are right for me. I have said to you, you are Elohim.
Hallelujah.
For all of you are children of the Most High Yah.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
And if you will let that sink in, you will be just a little bit lesser than your angelic brothers and sisters who physically can do things and gifted in doing things that you can't do, which is move like light, which is appear here and then appear there. See, there's only a thin veil. When he said, I made you a little lower than that, there's only a thin veil. Because if you clean yourself all the way up, you'll see your brothers. That's why Yehoshua could sing and say on the battle, who are you for? And he said, I'll be the captain of hosts. And Yehoshua dropped to his knee and said, oh my master. But that's why he could sing. Because he had cleaned himself all the way up. That's why David could peer out his window on the floor on there and see him standing above the cloud with his sword. And David said, oh, he getting ready to slaughter. And he turned and prayed to Yah. He said, no, have mercy upon these people. But the Almighty said, he must accomplish what I sent him to accomplish. But David saw him standing between heaven and earth with his sword drawn. This ain't bigger than speech. He literally saw that.
Oh, God.
Because if you rise, your brothers, you will see them. When the prophet said, open this man's eyes. And the young man had the veil taken around. He looked, and the whole mountain was nothing but angels. We read it as if it's fairy tale, but this is real.
Yeah.
Creator said, I put an angel beside you that you should not even dash your foot on the stone. These won't be manifest because we won't believe it. But ask yourself, who do you walk with? I've seen it. I have not just peered at the page. I've seen it. I've experienced it. Take it or leave it. He said, but Brother Aaron, the fact that you won't get to that penultimate place is because you choose a lot of times to die rather than live. You choose to die like ordinary men. You don't choose to live like a God. You choose to die like an ordinary man. And you choose to fall like a prince. Arise, O Elohim, judge the earth, for thou shalt inherit all nations. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Let's stand. Let's stand. Sister Zuriel? Word? Yes, ma'am. Prayer? Yes, ma'am.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
All right.
Yahweh, thank you for waking us all up this morning, letting us get here with safety and protection as we travel. Yahweh, we pray that you do with each and every one of us, that you open up our eyes, our ears, and our hearts to learn and to hear and to apply your word. Yahweh, pray that we're on this work that you will keep us all safe, keep us all sound. Now let's all remember the division of Shabbat day. Hallelujah.
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 Hallelujah. Praise the mighty Yahweh. Yah is righteous all the time, both day and night. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Return back. 6:10.
Get ready.
6:10. We'll be back at 6:10.
Get that little mouth. Oh, nasty.
That bad boy.
You bring the thing?
Yeah.
My charger in the bag? I got my charger.
Hallelujah. And I forgot to mention on the 20th was my youngest birthday. 8 years old. So you missed out on that.
How old is it?
8.
8.
8.
Get a birthday today. Excuse me, ladies.
Fire, yeah.
That's too much.
Y'all in the way. It might be back on out here, y'all ain't gotta be up.
Right. Everything.
I remember those, Jack. I got my first set, boy, I put it in my wallet. I said, hey, some people, they like, man, that's just
Let me see what this was.